Today I want to talk about how our traumas, our heartaches, our problems that we have as INFJs, how they hold us back in life, how they actually are putting a roadblock into our life, keeping us, impeding us from moving forward and finding better clarity in who we are. That's going to be the discussion today. Oh, this is Tom. This is the INFJ Experience. Welcome. And so my point is that yes, we are a trauma and soul. In fact, that is one of the telltales that says that was how we evolved into who we are as INFJs. That was some of the things that pushed us into our introversion, into our solitude, into coping the way we did. It was a perfect storm of traumas and certain situations that just pushed us into isolation, and we evolved who we are. Now it's a possibility there's some genetics in there. I have some questions and concerns. I think that there's some genetic qualities as well in that too. That it could be we're born with it in some ways, and maybe it's a very rare latent gene that comes out every so often. And that's why it is such a rare personality type. I'd be willing to think that in some ways maybe studies should be done, maybe they have been, and discuss as to whether or not personality types are actually hereditary. Chances are they are. But after saying that, I'd like to just say basically what I was getting my point was is that we are held back by our traumas. We are held back by these things. We are not able to advance any further. I mean, emotionally, strength-wise, spiritually, we're kind of neutered at this point because we can't resolve them. And but there's ways of resolving these. There is ways that we find it. It may take a lifetime though. I mean, as you're younger, I mean, a lot of times I said the INFJ, we are at evolution. We evolve and we mature and we become better with age. Maybe not everybody. I mean, I know I did, but I would hope a lot of us, we seem to find ourselves later on as we mature, as we blossom, as we reach our pinnacle ages in our life. We tend to bloom. But after saying that, like I said, we are held back by our drawbacks. Imagine that. Okay. So how do we face these? Now earlier, a few videos ago, if you look in some of my inventory of my videos, I mentioned that there's a meditation exercise. I go over some meditation techniques. Now, for the most part, INFJs, we find ways of centering our mind. Now, whether you call it meditation, whether you call it centering, whether you call it somehow centering your thoughts, finding your inner quiet, whatever it is that you may call this, we have a form of meditation that we do. I would think most of us do. Maybe some don't do this, but if you're interested though, people, there is a technique, a basic technique that I teach in one of my videos. I think it's called meditation. I can't remember exactly. I should have looked at what it was. But bottom line is meditation is going to center us. It's going to, meditation is something that should be part of our regular daily exercise, mental exercise, to find clarity, to find some kind of centering. And even if you want to call it prayer, if you have religious or spiritual beliefs, prayer helps. But finding quiet time, sitting alone, and at times is going to help you center yourself. But above all, this is the fundamental thing to learn about trauma and how you can get out of it. As these things start rising to your surface. Now, trauma, they're always going to be resentment. Resentment basically means just that. You re-sense. It's almost like you're resensing. So you're resenting. You're hating all over again. You're finding another way of actually resenting, hating it. It bubbles up again. You want to face it again. Now, our defense mechanisms as human beings, not just INFJs, we have a tendency to resent. Like, let's say if something happened in our childhood. Let's say our parent did something out of the ordinary, and it was something that damaged us. We were 5 years old, anything that traumatized you, okay? And if you don't resolve this, if it was never resolved over the course of your life, these memories come back to us at various times through our life. They could be in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day. We think about them. And typically what we do to resolve them in that moment is we tend to judge them. We'll sit back and say, my mother, or oh, my father, I can't believe, I'm glad they died, or something. You see, it'll come down to a negative, almost judging. Now, that's going to make you feel as though you are elevating yourself above this trauma, to seeing it, looking it down, like you have somehow risen above it, okay, by actually resenting it. So you're going to put it a mindset that you are, but in reality, you're only resenting yourself. You're only resenting. There was a famous quote that said, resentment is like taking poison and hoping the other person dies. So it's actually just kind of keeping your soul in a perpetual loop of just dysfunction. It's never going to solve anything because you're in this resentment. You're in a resentment phase. So these traumas have to be faced when they come up and bubble up. They have to be faced without resentment, without hate, without emotion behind them. If you need to look at them, if you need to watch them, they have to be looked at in a point of, like I said, not that. Because you got to get away from that judgmental. It's almost a way of forgiving. As it says in some scripture, forgiveness is the key. Now, after saying that, I mentioned my meditation exercise before. Now, I think that we have a predetermined code as human beings, as INFJs. We are predetermined to have a certain, we follow a certain order, we follow a certain code of conduct, a certain code of ethics, and we're supposed to use our guiding code, the same way animals use their code for instinct, the way they know, even without being taught, without being showed by the other parents, where to go and find the water, where to drink, how to build a bird's nest, how to build this structure in it. It's almost a repeat. It's like a blueprint that's imprinted in their mind, their brain. Well, we have our own code that we follow. It may not be an instinctive code in that way, but it's more of a code of conduct. It's a code of reason. It's a code that we follow, that as human beings that guide us into making proper, rational, moral decisions. So I guess I said it in that way. So after saying that, meditation and sitting and quietly observing centers our souls. It actually makes our thoughts more objective. On my meditation exercise, I said that we have to, it's basically separating our mind from the stillness of our soul and watching our thoughts, just watching them objectively, seeing them pass by without being caught up in the whirlpool of the thoughts. So these meditation exercises, these observation exercises actually help us to look at our thoughts objectively. So when these traumas, when these acts of whatever hurt you, whatever violated you, when they come up, it may take time. It may take time, but if they can be looked at, like I said, without the resentment, judgmental, then they're going to eventually slowly evaporate. Yeah, trust me, they will. And they will, you'll never, it's not like you won't have the memory of them, but the memory of the hatred of what they've done to you, the memory of the trauma that they did that is holding you back will evaporate eventually, and it will eventually lead you into better clarity, and it will basically remove the roadblock, and so you can move forward into who you are intended to be. Good gosh, I said a lot again. See, this just rolled out, people. That's a lot of what I wanted to say, people. I wanted to get that off my chest. This is my channel. This is my calling. I've known this for quite a while, but a lot of times is these meditation exercises, which I do, I mean, they may not resonate with a lot of people. I mean, I'm thinking maybe of the INFJs. It's we have a way of centering. It is very important because we are thinkers. We're overthinkers. We're overthinkers. Always, our minds are always going. We are very prone to these kind of things. In fact, because of the way we're built, the way we are coded, we are very susceptible and prone to these kind of things. And it is highly imperative that we, as INFJs, find these controls in our mind. I mean, not mind control, but I mean a way of just handling our thoughts, maybe separating them. And by, like I said, the video that I showed before, these basic exercises teach us to center our soul and separate our thoughts and make our thoughts objective. And by doing this, they can help us to look and understand and things that are bothering us, things that are eating at us, and whatever it is that's killing our souls, and make us better people. Well, good gosh, people. I think I need to wrap this one up. I said a lot. I've been talking for a lot. So, but people, bottom line is, yeah, I'd like to build a community here. I'd like to build this INFJ community. I'd like you to think this is a place to go. I've said this before in other videos, but yes, this is my calling, and I'd like you to support me and give me some thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and keep this momentum going because we as INFJs we need something. Well, not only do we want to find solace within our own self and our own stillness, our own selves within the solace of us, it's good to know we can just have somebody out there like that we could have some kind of communication with. And I'd like to be that guy. I mean, I'd like you all to join me here and just watch what I got. And now, also, people, as my channel evolves, as I go on with this channel, I plan to try to do things. I'd like to try to get into things like maybe possibly counseling. Maybe offer some kind of counseling advice online, like an hour at a time, things like that. Maybe do some live broadcasts and things like that. As we evolve, as I build this community, as you support me, I'd like to think that maybe that I could have certain times where there'll be question and answers and go do live broadcasts and things like that. I do have plans. I hope to, but these still have to unfold because this is still very new. This is still a very new project here, but I do have some visions. I have great visions for this channel, and I'd like you to be part of it. I'd like you to be part of my visions and hang out with me and just be there, and I'll be there for you. Well, people, I thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you if you stuck around to the end of this video, and please give me support, and I'll see you on the next one. Well, thank you again, and have a wonderful rest of your day.